Good morning, Vietnam. Here I am back again without my top on, and I am wearing shorts because today we are going to do beginner's calisthenics at home. Now, as you know from my previous video, my exercise video, 6 months ago, I stopped doing weights and I started taking a boxing class, which I do twice a week, and then one day I go by myself and just go through the routine. Not as much fun, but I still really enjoy it. Today we're going to go through beginner's exercises in calisthenics. Now, first thing is this piece of rubber I bought 25 years ago, and I've kept it with me the whole time, but I only started using it around 8-9 months ago. And now I do the exercise at least twice a week on my off days between the boxing classes. If you recall, I mentioned that between boxing classes and my day off, I try to do running, jogging around my neighborhood or on a treadmill, or I do sprints in my garage, which is open completely, so there's a lot of fresh air and wind to cool you off. But first, this is the first exercise I normally do. You don't know, but my body's completely changed since I started doing calisthenics and boxing. I've always been slim my whole life, around 60 kilograms. The only difference is when I was playing Australian football from 17-year-old to 22, I had much larger thighs because of all the sprint work I was doing. So otherwise, my body hasn't changed, and really changed 6 months ago. Before that, the last 3 to 4 years, I was doing weights in the gym, and I started doing very light weights at home, which I will show you in a minute. And that really started me thinking that I needed to get some muscle back on. And after reading a lot and seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about sarcopenia and how critical it is, and how doing weights increases your lifespan significantly, and then adding aerobics adds another level of longevity. But today we're going to do beginners. You will see me in a video when I go to the gym to do my class, and also I'll do one where I'm not in the class but just doing it by myself, and you will see how actually strenuous it is. But first, we'll start off with this. You simply grab it, rotate it in any direction, and then hold it any number of seconds. When you've had enough, I can hold it much longer, but I just want to show you. Change the grip, do it again. It uses the muscles in your arms, wrists, and upper arms, and a little bit on your shoulders. But the critical thing is the forearms and the wrists, and also your grip strength. From what I've read and seen on YouTube, your grip strength is also critical for your overall muscle development. So, another variation. They all look the same, but they're actually a little bit different. They're flexing your wrists, especially, and elbows, slightly differently. So I do 3 or 4 variations of that grip and hold it for between 10 and 20 seconds. Secondly, I switched to compression, I don't know what they're, spring-loaded hand wrist developers, whatever they're called. So this one has got a much higher spring rate, about 50% more, and I always start with my left hand, even though it's weaker, because I really damaged my right elbow and wrist 30 years ago when I was working with my labourers, and I didn't really do any exercise for my upper body for about 27 years. And then I just one day woke up and got sick of it and started doing these exercises. So, pretty straightforward, just compress. I do between 20 and 30, and then when I've had enough, I rest. Always rest between any exercise you do. I highly recommend anywhere between 10 seconds and 1 minute. The other thing I will get to a little later is your posture. I have found since I started doing exercises 3-4 years ago, but much more so when I took up boxing and only doing calisthenics, that my posture improved significantly. I felt a lot more relaxed walking, doing the exercises, and obviously my back especially feels much stronger. And you'll see with one of the exercises, or a few of them I will show you in a minute. So I switch hands. The stronger one is on the right side now, and I go through the same routine until around 20 to 30 times. Now I can really feel that in my right arm because it's damaged, and sometimes I wake up and it's sore. After I go to the gym, to the boxing class, it is sore. I ice my wrists and forearms continuously every day, as many times as I remember. I jammed my left finger here doing a exercise in boxing, and then yesterday I jammed my right thumb. I know you can't tell, but it's really a little bit larger than my left thumb. So I'm not going to do that exercise again. This large knuckle, who was playing Australian football, I jammed it many, many times. This finger, you can see how the tendons have totally moved it over. Also playing football, the whole finger got pushed back so far that it ripped the skin, and you could see the bone and muscle inside. Quite hilarious at the time. And it started to go, it used to be straight, and started to go over slowly about 5-8 years ago. But that's the price you pay to have fun when you're young. The third thing I do at home, between weights, between gym, boxing, is 1 kilogram weights. Now you can buy smaller weights, but I think this is all you're going to need for the first year you're working. If you get really good at it, of course you can buy heavier weights, but I found I just double it up. So what I'm going to show you now is, I'm going to move the screen to show my knees. Firstly, I'm only going to do it with 1 kilogram, even though I use heavier weights, is just simply to rotate up and down using your knee as the fulcrum, and I do with the 2 kilogram weights. Again, this is just for my home. This is all I have at home. And this is all I started with 3 to 4 years ago. and actually built quite a bit of muscle. I do it about 15-20 times, and then I switch without resting because it's a completely different arm and doesn't affect any other muscle in my body. So I'm working out in my second bedroom in my apartment. I have a space about 1.5 meters by about 3 meters, which is really all the space you need to work out at home. After I rest a minute or so, I switch back to my right hand and do the reverse. You will find this much more difficult. It's a much more unnatural position and to do any exercise. And actually you'll find that this, as you get into, if you end up doing with the 2 kilograms together, I find that it actually starts to burn this muscle up here. You can see the muscle. Well, it's hard to, can't make it. You can see a little bit of the definition of it. So then I switch to the other side and do around 20, and by that time the forearm muscle is burning. So that's really the beginning exercises to get blood flowing through my arms, and then after a little rest, again anywhere around 30 seconds to a minute, and very, very simple exercises that'll take you around 15 minutes. The first one is just straight up and down. That's all you need to do. Up and down 10. If you can do 10 to start with, great. Now remember, I'm assuming that you are an elder gentleman like myself or woman, and you have not been exercising at all. Now, if you have been exercising and you have some muscle mass, then you can do all these exercises. Now, I do the exercises I've already shown you anyway. That's all I do at home, nothing heavier. Now, you can do burnout on this, but I think if you're just starting out and you don't have muscle mass, anywhere between 5 and 10 is enough. The next one is simple. Just again, up and down. That's all it is. You can do, again, I wouldn't go to burnout because you've got a lot more exercises to do. Right? Next one is out to the side. I'll shift over. Oh, I'm a bit tight today because of the workout yesterday. So I can feel this in my upper arms, shoulders. Now, if you're feeling frisky, you can do a boxing exercise. Just simple, straight out in front of you, back and forth. This is much more difficult, and you'll reach burnout fairly quickly on these. The next one is, I'll move my chair. In front of me is my desk where the laptop is. I do all my work here and prepare for my next videos. So this one will be, and I will need to prepare. So I'm going to, so the next exercise is, move the chair further back, is simply bending over. Now, one key feature I really believe holds true for every exercise is to keep your back straight. I think that is critical not to damage your back in any way during any exercise. So, your legs straight, tilt forward, you'll see my back is straight, and just lift the weights up as high as it can go. Do 20 if you can. The longer you do it, Maybe you can get up to 30. So all the exercise I'm showing you is the minimum required to start getting strength in your body and start getting more muscle mass. So I'm going to shift gears. Next we're going to do some leg exercises. One is the classic, I think it's called the horse stance. Now if you can't put your hands out in front of you, don't. But this is a killer exercise for your thighs. Of course, if you can hold it for a long time, I cannot even hold it a long time. I'm moving, go up against the wall, legs straight, and just rest your whole back against the wall. And the lower you can go, the more stress, but a little bit higher is a lot more comfortable. And keep going lower and lower as your thighs get more and more strength. The next exercise is the squat. As you know, or may not know, I've been in Vietnam 10 years. And Asians, Southeast Asians especially, squatting is very natural to them. They do it all the time. And even though there's many jobs they do, like mechanics on motorbikes, instead of making the work easy, they're all squatting and working on the motorbikes. Some of them have lifts for the motorbikes, but most of them don't. So it's a very natural position. I've been doing it, probably do it 5 times a week. And you can feel the hip joints, and I also feel it in the muscle running up on my shin bone. This is going to give you a lot of strength for your, improve your strength and mobility on your hips especially. As we get older, it seems like a lot of elderly people break their hips for some reason. So that's that exercise. The next exercise on the ground, we're going to sit down, and if you're a beginner, you can just put your elbows on the ground and just lift your legs up. You can see my camera work is terrible, but just lift your legs up. Now, I'm going to lie back and lift my legs up and down. Now, if you can do it like that. You can do it on your elbows, and you can feel the strain on your stomach immediately. So, the higher you are, the more difficult it is. Another exercise while you're down here is simply put your hands on each side of you and move your legs in and out. A very difficult exercise for your thighs. You will tire out very quickly. Now, in terms of a back stretch, I read this about 20 years ago, or I saw it on TV. It definitely was not on YouTube. A chiropractor from New Zealand who was working with geriatric patients found that this particular exercise was the one that really relieved stress and pain in lower back for elderly people. Basically, you lie on your stomach. Well, not lie on your stomach. Put your knees on the ground, and what you do is simply put your torso on the ground all the way and lift up. Just go on your elbows to start. As you feel more comfortable and you don't have pain in your lower back, then you can lift yourself up. I see a lot of people in the exercise class, the boxing class, they tend to stay lower. They come up here if they feel more comfortable. But what I like to do is I get off the ground totally, and on my toes only, I let my lower back and my whole back rotate as much as possible. Now, I had an injury to my lower back when I was around 21, and I aggravated it when I was traveling, and when I was 22, sleeping on hard beds and hard surfaces when I was just graduated from university, and basically because of the playing football, it rotated my hips relative to my spine, and I couldn't fix it, and it always gave me some pain over the years until I finally started doing this regularly about 5 years ago, roughly. And now I don't get any pain in my lower back. Now, of course, you should never use your arms to pick up any weight of significance. Always use your legs. So, the other exercises while I'm down here are simple push-ups. Now, these are going to progress as time goes by. If you can't do a push-up at all, then you just simply stay on your knees and you just go up and down. Do 5. If you need a rest, take a minute off, do another 5. Always try and do 3 sets of everything if you can. When you're starting out, 1 set. As you get better, 2 sets. But then try and get to 3 sets, and that'll be sufficient. Only from my experience and what I've read, it seems like a repetition around anywhere between 5 and 8 is plenty. So I normally hang out at around 7 reps of any exercise I do. And now, as you get better, of course, stronger, you want to be able to do a simple push-up. You lift your hip off the ground, round the back, and just go up and down. Very simple, as comfortable as possible. And shows you how tired I am today. I can do well over 15 comfortably, but today I'm a little bit tired from this week on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. I had very hard exercises and gym workout and boxing workout. My arms are a bit tired. But you can see the muscles I've developed, as I said, in my legs. I've always been a runner. My stomach's got flatter. My chest, I've never seen so much muscle in my chest ever. And we will do some more difficult exercises in a month or so. And we'll just upgrade or increase the level of difficulty for calisthenics working at home. So, and I will also do a video of my running exercise. Remember, so much of any exercise you do, any routine, is warm-up. You'll see my warm-up when I go to the gym. I do a lot of arm swings to get blood flowing through my arms. Excuse me, I do a hang off a high bar, and I do pull-ups. I do that before I start the boxing class, and I do it at the end of my boxing class. I had a shoulder injury on my left side when I was snow skiing back in, I think it was around 1988. And no one ever told me to do any physical therapy to fix it. So it atrophied, and I don't know if you can see, but my left side is, this upper muscle here is not as big as my right side. So that's one reason I'm doing a lot of these upper arm exercises. And one thing you have to do is improve this muscle here, strengthen it, stretch it, whatever, and then that controls this muscle here. So I'm doing a special exercise for that. So I think that'll be all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a few weeks when we upgrade the exercises. Thank you.